Hey guys, Ben with IncomeOptionsTrading here on Wednesday, February 19th. Hope you guys are doing well. I was up 170 today, so a good day. Back into the green on the account, up like 50 bucks, so can't complain about that. If we go into the chart here today, VIX was down, or VIX was up overnight. Excuse me, the market opened down. So I put on my normal iron condor, and that being, on the put side, I opened a 50 wide short put spread targeting 175 on the short put, and on the call side I did a 50 wide, or I usually target a 50 wide. I did a 40 wide today because the 5 cent bid was at 40 wide instead of 50 wide, so I did a 40 wide call spread, and the premium target on that is 125 on the short call. So that was my Iron Condor. I put that on as two separate orders so I can adjust the prices separately. And that one, the short call, got stopped out here just before 130, around 120, after this move up. So that was unfortunate. But I did have a couple of short put spreads that I put on today because we were trending upwards. So 1230, I put on a short put spread. I put on one, and the optional megabot put on one. They were both at the 61.15 mark, so that was good. And actually, this one we put on at 12:31 instead of 12:30 because of this big green candle. So right at 12:30, the bot tried to open it up based on the option prices of 61.32 of SPX. And just because the market moved up so quickly, relatively speaking, the 12:30 order got canceled because they don't have it too aggressive to fill. And it opened at 12:31, so about where this arrow was, and I opened up relatively the same time as well. I use a floating order for my bot just so it has a little bit more time to work, but when I'm running the back tests, I don't do a floating entry. So I have that. 61.15 was the short put. There I target about 125 in credit, and I go 50 wide. That one was never tested. And then after my call got stopped out here at 130, I put on another short put spread along with the optional megabot. The optional megabot put one on at 61.30, and I put mine at 61.35 for the short put. And the reason was so the put price between 61.30 and 61.35. The 61.30 was roughly $1, and the 61.35 was about 160. And I usually target 125, like I said, so 25 points or 25 cents away on the 61.30, but 35 cents to the 61.35. So because this one was closer to 125, that's what the option megabot chose. I chose this one. I usually I don't mind rounding up from 125 and taking extra risk. If this is like 110 to 125, I'll still put on that below, but I tend to round up and have a little bit more risk on that, just a preference thing. So that's why we had a strike difference. The 61.30 was never tested here. Mine obviously was. I'm going to go to the 1 minute so we can look at these EMAs. So this is the 40 EMA here. Here's the 5 EMA. So that's how I determine if I'm going to put it on. If the 5 EMA is above the 40 EMA, then I'll put it on. The green line here is a 200 EMA, and I use that just as a little bit of a test for very quick intraday bounces. You can see today was a relatively good day on bouncing near the 200 EMA. Had several here, so I liked where things were headed. I decided to be a little bit more aggressive here, and obviously we could have kept going down. That would have been a different story, but I put that on there. I should say for the Iron Condor, I do a 5x stop on both the call and the put side. On the call side, I do it as just a short call, and on the short put, I do it on the spread until later in the day. I'll move it to just the short put if needed, if it's the last hour of the day. On the short put, I wait until breach. So I have stop on breach, but I have a resting at 8x just as a fail safe if this goes through the roof. And that's a stop market on the short put only, just as a fail safe, just in case something blows through the floor here. But I usually like to wait until I have a full candle below the for the breach. Everyone is different. I'm a little bit more risk heavy on that, so that's just how I trade. So even though we breached here, I waited, and also with this 200 EMA here, I thought there was a decent chance that it would pull things back up. Obviously not always the case, but in this case it did, so it worked out for me. For the optional megabot, I know it's still not publicly available. If I have more information, I will share it. I'll actually reach out to Troy and the team and Matt and see if there's any update on when they're going to start rolling that out more people. They might already be doing that, but I'll check in to see on that. But for that, there are 3 different ways you can set up the short stop or the stop order. So the first is an order that sits on your broker. So it'd be just like you put this on tastytrade and it sits and it rests on the broker side. If that was the case, it would have to be the 8x. It can't. There's no conditional order in tastytrade to say if SPX goes below 61.35 to put on a stop order. So the only way you can do that is if your stop is based on some X of the credit received. So I could do that for the 8x, but since I do the breach, I do that conditional order, I can only do that on the optional megabot. So with that one, there's 2 different ways you can look at it. So the first way is you can have the platform look at every second and look to see, is the SPX price below my short put, and it would look at it for every second. And if that's the case, if there's 1 second where it's below, it will then route the stop order to the broker at whatever price SPX is, and you can have adjustments for how aggressive you want to be, and you can choose how often you want it to adjust the price. So that's one option. The second option, and it also matches the back testing, is it looks at the opening price of each 1 minute candle. So it would have looked at here at this candle at 61.38. It would have said, nope, it's not breached. And then it would have looked here at 61.35, roughly 33, and said, nope, it went to breach. So the platform there and the back tester would say, not breached, not breached. So you're good. And it wouldn't have filled. So if the optional megabot, if I had at this strike and have that set up that way, it would have been fine as well. But if I would have done the 1 second, it would have got stopped out here. And luckily it rallied and kind of went sideways, but we had a small rally into the end of the day here, so everything worked out well. So that was my trading day. We had FOMC meeting minutes at 1 o'clock. Nothing really happened, but at 1:12 we had this big spike. There were some Trump things, something with the Pentagon with budget cuts and some other things. But I think the market is getting more used to the Trump news. And so I know I've been a little bit more wishy-washy on when I open up the Iron Condor. My back test is for strictly when the VIX is up overnight. And I've been opening up the Iron Condor even when VIX is down overnight, if it's not down very much. And that's just because of the extra volatility. And I thought that we would have a vol crush here. So I did that a little bit more aggressively, but now that we've had a day like today where VIX decreases and we have just a train ride up. I mean, I know we had some sideways action, but it was a pretty strong bull day, even though it was a smaller range. I'm going to go back to, if VIX is down overnight, I'm not going to do it. If you run the back test, there's basically no, over the long run, over the last 5 years, there's really no scenario where if you open up an Iron Condor in the morning and the VIX is down overnight, regardless of what the VIX is, it's still a negative P&L over the long run. So I'm going to go back to being more strict on that. So there might be days where I don't have any trades at all during the day. If the market opens up overnight, VIX is down, and then we trend down during the day, I might not have a trending up market at 12:30 and 1:30, and I might not have any trades, and that's okay. So I will probably get into that a little bit more and that's just the way it is. So just on a last minute note here, if you do trade with Trade Automation Toolbox TAT, there is a new bypass that you have to put in your settings for the API if you do OCO or one cancels another or one cancels other. Kyle did an announcement on Discord, so if you're in there, you probably already saw it. And if you're a new user as of last week, it's already in the documentation, but my previous videos don't show it. And if you're an older user and you're following the documentation, it's a new thing with the new Trader Workstation. So they just IBKR just updated their new stable version. So with the new version, there was this extra bypass. So if you have further questions, let me know on that. But should be pretty straightforward. So yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you guys had a good day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.